So this week we're following on from what we did last week. Obviously you saw at the end of the video I did one of the rubbed engaged arches. The one on the other fella's one had a few little issues. This week we've been doing our own. We haven't had any issues. We've had a rub, a couple of them down here and there, like you can imagine. We're not in a environment where we've got machines that can cut to, you know, a half a mil. So when we get it out and we put the line, some of them, you know, oh, that's just a mill out, or something just needs sanding down, or just, and we've had a couple of breakages because some of them, they've got sort of hairline cracks, and you cut through them, you don't realise at the time. You go to lay them and they just fall apart in your hands. It is just part and parcel of rubbed, you know, rubbed engaged brickwork with these red rubbers. We've also got Ollie at the end of the video. He's doing his own arch from start to finish. This one he's set out, he's templated, he's cut the bricks, he's rubbed them, and he's led them. So he's done the whole lot on this arch. I think you'll be impressed with that. And at the end we've got just a little bit on what we're doing on a job that we started not so long ago, the little side extension of Victorian house. We're putting some steels in. We're not quite at the point of putting them in this week, but I'll go through how you get your heights, your lengths, and all the rest of it in setting out and making sure that all your numbers are right for the fabrication of the steels. It's all in the prep, gauging, and as you can see I'm setting up the packers for the camber in it. Take your time, get this right, and it makes your life a lot easier. So this is why preparation is so key. So as you can see, we've gauged the former, and you can also see you've got 1 mil packer there, 2, 3, 2, 1, and so on. What we've also done this time, which I didn't do before, was I put a piece of 4x2 at the back, and this basically is because where we're walking on the scaffold's touching the wall, and you just get a slight bit of, you know, vibration on the wall there, and that just gives you something just to put it up against, just to give it a little bit more of a solid background. But we're ready to go now. So we've knocked up our putty now, and that's half mature line putty. I mean, there are numerous ways of doing it. Some people use NHL2. We're using mature line putty. That's what I've always done. And we've got half silver sand in there as well. We've got a bucket of water for dunking the bricks ready to go. And we're all ready, set. And then we can start laying. You've got your line putty, you've got your brick, you dunk it, and you just watch it absorb in, yeah? You don't want residual water on there because you'll smudge it. Now you can do this a couple of ways. Sometimes it's easier to do it on the wall, sometimes it's easier to do it off the wall, yeah? Now what you're looking for, you're looking to get that true down there, which I'm not just yet. Now what we use, obviously be careful with the Stanley knife blade, what we use is just a blade to cut it off because it keeps it cleaner. And yeah, there is a little bit of a stain there, but not much of one. Yeah, so you take the main excess off and then you can have a look to see where you're lining, you see, and then after that you just leave it alone, because all you'll do is smudge it now, and when that dries back you can cut that clean. So yeah, you've got a little bit of a mark there and there, but it's not dramatic, yeah. Now when you've got a few on like that, then you can check your line. So that one, as you can see, is probably just a touch. I mean, like, we're talking half a mil, so it's not really worth touching because no one's ever going to see that, and it's such a small amount. I mean, if I pulled the line over there you wouldn't even notice it, so that's how minute amount it is, but it's just doing a check-in. The lad's a natural. I'm on your shoulder, mate. Let's have a look at it. Show them what you've done.
So far.
First effort, that ain't bad, mate. Because it ain't no better, that ain't no worse than mine, that's for sure. So what you want to do is you want to try it up dry. Make sure you've got your margins you want. Which, looking at it, that'd be pretty good. So I want to just show you a close up as well. So when I say about, you know, crisp joints, when you've got like a sort of crevice like that, there's no way you're going to get a crisp line. Like as where if you put two of these together, you get a crisp line, and that was the point I was trying to make the other day in the video. So now, filming. So now you dunk it, you let it drain off, and you can see it absorb the water a little bit, just so you're not doing it wet. And it's just a nice even spread through. Flick to the front, and if you're getting in on that crevice, just run that up so the dust comes away from the joint. I mean, you're gonna get some marks on it. You know, we're only human at the end of the day. Now, if you can see that, you can see I'm to gauge. Now, I've sharpened one edge on here now rather than the Stanley knife, so we've tweaked again just to get that clean. Now, just so that you can see, now we run this through to make sure we're on the right radius. Now, oh, the hammer's in the way. Now if you look there, you've got a packer in the way, and it's just a touch at the bottom, see that? Just a tiny bit. I mean, that is probably about it. And you can see she's running with it, so you can see the whole thing. There you are. See if she goes. She's not looking too bad yet. She goes in there, look. So now, don't the brick again. But what you need to do this time is you need to lift up both edges as well. Yeah. So you've got something to key for, but you must always check that this bit is clear at the bottom. Yeah. And that's because by the time you push this in down, you will obviously be pushing it down, and then you'll end up, it'll be set on a joint, so that's why you leave it slightly at the bottom. Yeah. And then both sides will key together, otherwise there will be no friction to it, because the minute it hits the other side, it'll dry up and there'll be nothing. Yeah. Just make sure. So you come in from the top, you go down so far, but make sure you've got the tool lower down if you have to. Yeah. And then if it does push, you can clear that end there. Ollie can do it. She's gone. Sat back slightly, but we can sort that out in a second. Right, there we are. We want him to be hard to go in because it's not hard to go in. Oh, she's gone. So the reason I'm putting a gauge in is because Ollie is on a good vein of form this morning. So I thought I'd leave him at it.
That's it. Getting it pointed up now.
It's looking good. There's mine. And there's Oliver Van Nistelrooy's. Ain't bad, is it? He's still a twat though. So I promised Ollie he was going to get one to do on his own. He's helped me with 3 of them now. So here goes, let's see how he gets on. So what are you doing now then, Ollie?
Just gauging up onto our plate, just so I've got a guideline for when I'm putting in the bars.
So add the 50s together and then go 1, 2, 3, and then you take...
Yeah.
That'd be your best way of doing it, I'd have thought. Don't forget, on the right hand side you've got to add the 3. You've got a 3mm joint to the right hand side, haven't you?
Yeah. So 196, and then it'd be 240. That line.
Right, skew back's going on now. He's all gauged out, ready. I'm just here for a little bit of moral support now if he needs it. Get it to him, he's got some balls. Right, small tool. I cleaned it for you, I put it somewhere for you. Inch at a time. Inch off, that's it. And it looks like the bottom one's tapping in, as you probably already know. But it looks very nice. Made a good start. Tap it with your hand.
Sure.
Yeah. That looks alright, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's good for you.
Good on you. Now, with this first one, it's always a bit of a fucker, really, if I'm honest. I find this one harder than others. Put your top one on,
Yeah.
and then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to put the line on it, see how it's lining through. Oh, nearly fell backwards off the scaffold then. Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely. Going well so far, kid.
One in.
Hey?
We're only one
The
in
first
yet.
one's the hardest. Honestly, the first one, getting the first one set is the hardest one to get ready. Because you ain't got that sort of millimetre perfect skew back. No matter how well you cut that, there's always a bit of a discrepancy because these kind of bricks, isn't there?
Yeah.
So don't let that worry you. Yeah, you better have a little bit more to play with on that first one, as I said to you. Make sure you've got a nick on the edge of all 3 edges, that's it. We won't film the whole thing like this, but this is just for the start off. And then put it up and down into it so you can lightly tap down to it. But don't tap it down too much because the bottom will want to slide to begin with because the angle's greater for the first one, yeah?
Yeah.
You've got to be gentle on that first one. That's clean as a whistle, mate, that is. Fucking good job that is, buddy.
Just a bit in there to infill, but that's
Yeah.
fine. We can do that when some.
You get these 2 on and they're going well, and they're all nice and neat. That's half the battle. If you start right, you'll end right, I promise you.
That works.
Look how neat that is though.
I know.
Let me zoom in on that. Fucking hell. Fucking pro.
That needs to move out of there. I need to put the top one on there just because I was waiting.
Looking nice. Very clean, very accurate. See how clean that is. You're doing really well there, mate. So, perfectly good voussoir. Ollie went to lay it, and the back fell off. Lucky, Marky boy's here, and he's had to cut another one. But that's what happens with these, unfortunately. Where they're so soft and they've got, you know, the impurities taken out of it, they are a little bit weaker in some respects. Hence why they're sandable. But obviously, you've got to be prepared to lose a few along the way. Right, he's doing well so far, as you can see. He's getting there.
beautiful.
Careful when you're tapping at the top of them because they do slide. Just give it a couple of little micro taps with a hammer if you have to. I think what you did is you went too heavy at the top first. You probably might want to lift it and just pick it up, pull it out from the top, and slide it up. Put it up and down now. Let's restart, mate. There was a lump in that one, so when he went to put it in, it was rocking on a lump in the middle, which, you know, we've sieved the sand out, but for some reason there must be an impurity on our tools or something. Just what happens sometimes. So he's had to go again with it, but it's not a big deal.
I'll have to put a touch on that.
Get right in front of it, so when you do it, you put an even pressure. You can see where you need to put the pressure, you get me? So now you can see you're better at the bottom, aren't you? You're still out a little bit, but there's nothing you can't tap to the point of it. Micro taps, that's it. Right, have a little, take the excess off there and have a look. Sometimes it's a bit hard to judge. Still a little bit, would you say?
Yeah. About right.
You might have fouled, just a slightly foul, and a little bit too much on it, but you'll probably still get it, wouldn't you? What's your thoughts there? About 3 mil?
No. This one's throwing me out. That one.
You're going to get a puppy fat fucking comment again. Right, come on. We've got about 40 seconds to get it on for a reel. You're making this look too fucking easy. Ain't right, Ollie, what you're doing to people. They're going to think I'm paying you too much because you've got Calvin Klein boxers wearing them to work. Right, try the line on her quick.
No.
Just tap in at the bottom, innit?
Yeah.
So, key brick time, does it go in?
Doesn't go in.
Has he got it right? You got to lick the back as well, mate.
Yeah, get that.
Just got to have a thorough lick on it because it's got to be forced in, and you have the small tool in the bottom. Make sure you don't push any muck underneath it. Yeah.
On the edges.
You want to put it on relatively thick. I know it'll be hard to get it in, but you really want that to properly key because that's what pins are in. Take it down to you've got about 10 mil at the bottom, and then you drag the tool through to make sure you ain't got none at the bottom. There you go.
There you go.
very slowly to make sure you can align the bottom. Yeah. Right, you're going to have trouble because you're going to be lopsided, so you want to try forcing it over slightly. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Keep going down. Push, push, push. How's she aligning? Right, come up. Come up, right up.
Trying to. It's wedged in there.
Come up.
Stop there.
Not stuck. Can't be stuck. Won't go in if it's stuck now, will it?
I have to forget about the film and you're going to have to give me some assistance.
No. It's your arch, you sort it out.
No, you're going to have to help me.
I'm not helping you, it's your arch.
Fuck. You don't need to worry about the filming now, you're going to help me with the arch. Yes, you are.
Right, get your small tool and drag the front edge out on your right hand side. It's real life filming, mate. It's real life. We want to show people the real deal. We don't want to show them fake videos when everything goes perfect, because that ain't real world.
I know.
Drag it out so you V the joint. Yeah. You must have been heavily on one side. Is it lifting?
Yeah.
Right, now put force so you're sending it to your right hand side, and twist it in your hand. So physically twist it in your hand so that it, yeah. Now send it. Is it going in even now?
Yeah.
Right, now get your hammer and do micro taps with the rubber part, with the rubber handle. But make sure you align the bottom. Keep going. The harder it is, the more your arch is key, but you want to make sure that you've got to make sure you're right at the front, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to pull it forward now because you won't get it in a minute. So tap it more to the front so it brings the top over, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, keep going to stop. Now put your small tool in the bottom and make sure none's gone under the bottom, otherwise you'll be bedding on top of it and you won't have a line on the... You got me?
Yeah.
Right, now tap that last 5mm. She flat on?
She'll probably be in a sec. There she is.
Right, now, what do you reckon about that?
She's
By the
in
time
there.
you clean the edge out, obviously because it took you clean the edge, that ain't bad going, mate. Right, let's get this last one in, Ollie. And then you've completed, you've done the geometry, you've done the cutting, the templating, and the fitting of this arch. This was the whole plan right the way through.
Yeah.
You lost your nerve a little bit in the middle, but what have you learned? That I'm a twat.
Yeah.
So remember, as you go down, you've got to make sure you've got even margins, and you've got to positively twist the thing in your hand to get it right. And then as you go down, to keep that force, if it starts to twist again, keep that force round to the way. Whoa, you haven't put it on the bottom, mate. And you've got to then obviously force it the way you need it to go. Because, you know, if you had a little bit more resistance on one side, because the muck's gone a bit stiffer on one side, it'll automatically start to twist.
Yeah.
So you've got to counteract that a little bit. Yeah?
Yeah.
You got me? You want to take the head over to, you want to take the top over to the right slightly.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
I'll pull it to you before you get too low. Yeah. How's that looking, mate?
Keep a little tap.
Don't go too mad with it.
There we go.
And then by the time that's had a little bit of a clean up, she's all good. So all the arches are in now. I've had to come back and get some tools. Had a van breakdown. I've got my car picking them all up. I've got to get my van sorted in the morning, but the arches are going to need a little bit of attention when the scaffold and that's down. I've got a couple of little marks on here and there that you're going to get, but this one's Ollie's. We've done all the other ones together, and this one he done on his own. So there we have it. So we just got 2 courses of band and then about another 4 courses, I think. So we've got about 8 courses all told, and this one's wrapped up. So we've just got to wait for the scaffold to be lifted and we can start our other job tomorrow. So we had a laugh and a joke with them arches and that. But to be totally honest with you, to have the balls 8 months in to say, yeah, I'll do it, you got to hand it to them. I mean, at the start we were doing them, and I said, look, the last one's yours. If you can get the gist of it, and you think you can do it, and not, you know, you can have a go. And he said, oh yeah. And on the sort of 3 or 4 he did help me. He done a couple one side and that, and then had to run off and do some other bits. But he did do it with me, and he did all right with it. So I thought, right, you know, let's have a day. If it takes you the whole day to do it, it doesn't matter. So I put a day aside. We got everything. I let him set it all up, get it all. And this one he'd cut. He'd done the geometry. He'd done everything to it. This was his arch. So I said to him, I said, look, I said, are you sure you can do it? Are you comfortable doing it? I said, I'll be here if you need me out. But I said, obviously, I'd like you to be able to do it yourself, to see how much of it you've taken in. He said, yeah, all right, I'll do it, no problem. And for that alone, just that, yeah, no problem, I'm up for it. Just that motivation, yeah, I'll do it. You got to take your hat off to him. Now, I put a lot of stuff on socials, some of the bits and pieces we've been doing on these arches, and we're quite fortunate with the jobs we've got. And a lot of the sort of older generation, I'll say, because they've all told me like 30 years ago and this and that, so it must be the older generation, so, you know, disrespect to anyone, but they did these kind of arches in their apprenticeships, and a little bit more the geometry and setting out and stuff. Now, when I did my college course back in 2001 or whenever it was, I only went because my dad said, oh, things are changing, you got to do it, this, that and the other, and I whopped through it as quick as I could to get out of the college, because I wasn't a fan of school or college. So anyway, I did it, and even then we touched on some arches. We've done some basic, you know, segmental arches and stuff like that, but nothing too sort of hard. But from what I can gather now, speaking to a few lads in my area that are going to college, it's just a turn up and pass kind of thing at the moment. So the skill levels, you know, skill levels are going down and down and down, and yeah, there's not as much of this kind of stuff around now, and it's a shame, because, you know, arches and stuff on houses rather than these square shoe boxes. You know, I'd like to see more detail in houses myself personally, but Ollie is gonna have, like, I mean, you could say he's gonna have an old school education, really, even more old school than me, because the run of work we've got at the moment and the things we're taking on, they're all a little bit more sort of prep, a little bit more geometry, getting set up and everything else, so it's perfect. And he's done less of the basic stuff, but that arch he did was as good as one of mine. And yeah, there was a couple of times I stepped in and just said, oh, watch this, watch that, but he did really well. I'm really fucking proud of him, to be totally honest with you. It ain't easy. I mean, the majority of bricklayers, and there's no disrespect to anybody at all, but from what I hear, from what I see on my socials when people comment, you know, there's very few people that have done them, very few people that have, you know, would know how to do them. It's not that difficult when you know the steps and everything else. I'm not saying it's, you know, mind-blowingly difficult, because it isn't, but a lot of the, you know, I'd say the large majority haven't done it. So he's gonna, you know, in 10, 15, 20 years, these listed buildings and these houses a bit more detail, they're still going to be there. They're still going to need repairs. They're still going to have extensions on them and so on and so forth. And he's going to be in a league of his own, really, because, you know, the blokes, quite a few of the fellas I speak to on socials, 60 plus, the ones with that kind of experience, I mean, obviously they're not going to go on forever, are they? And I mean, even me in 10 years, I'll be 50 in 10 years, and I'm still going to be of an age where I can do a fair bit. So at the end of the day, I mean, me and Ollie, if Ollie sticks around, we're gonna be in a good position when it comes to these kind of jobs, because they're still going to be there to be done. But you know, the level Finesse's got at this stage, 8 months in, to be able to do that is pretty phenomenal. And it's not something you can teach. It's not something you can buy. You've either got it or you haven't, and he has got it 100%. He's got it. He really has. It's just something natural that he has, and it's gonna do him fucking world of good in years to come. That extra touch of finesse is what separates you from the ordinary. Honestly, he's gonna be fucking exceptional. So that's what we're doing. We've got a steel going in there. We've got a steel coming in there. Now, what the client's asked for, he's asked for it to be a flat ceiling. So what we first initially done, we knew that being Victorian we're going to have large plasters. So what we've done, we've knocked it out. You see, we found the joist height. So then what we've done, we've taken a ceiling height, a floor height from underside of joist to the floorboard height, and we wrote that down on the wall. Now, for me, the best way to do anything is visually. So I've drawn it in such a way, we've got a post over there, so we put the post in. So I've drawn it as it's going to be, and then we've done a measurement at a time. So we've taken the ceiling height down to the underside of the floor, which is here somewhere. In a minute I'll take you around, and we put a footing in for the wall, which you can see through the window. And we extended it into under here, so that when we take this wall out, we can then install a post. Again, I'll show you when we get around there. So first of all, we've measured the room, we've added on, we need to be on the back of the post, and 100mm bearing on that side. Pretty standard thing. So we had a measurement from wall to wall of 4, 4, 10. We've added the 200 on for 100 there, 100 there, gives us 4, 6, 10. So that gives us that. Then we've got a cross wall coming in. Now, if you've ever got a junction on two steels, one coming into the other, this has got a plate on, you find the centre of the steel to the length, the overall length of that steel. Now, bearing in mind, what I've drawn in here as well is I've put I've imitated 4 holes for bolts. So then when you take a picture of this, it's always in your head what hand it is, because we know the post is up from this side, we know the post on the left hand side, so therefore we know we're taking the centre from the right hand side. Now by just drawing that little bit there, the bolt holes, that is enough as a visual reminder for what end we go from. So then we've measured the inside of this ring, and then we know this wall is 275mm, and the steel we've got is a 203 steel with a 10mm plate at 275 to take the overall width. So it worked out the centre. I think you can follow all that, it's pretty straightforward. So out here, in the main extension that we've built already, we have got a hole here. If you just crouch down, Ollie, and show them that we've got the underside of the floor there, look. That's the underside of the floor. So we know the floor was 22mm, and we had the overall height. We've added on 22 so we can take from the underside. Yeah. We transferred that then onto the wall here. We then went up to our overall floor height was 2409. So what we did, we went 1409, and then we had a mark there which is 1 metre below our joist height.
Yeah.
We transferred that over to here, 1 metre below, minus 1 metre from our finished height.
Yeah.
And then if you look here, you can see down in that hole, that's where we've got the pad for the post to go on when the wall's gone. So we've measured down to there. We knew that was 885 damp course, dead on level, and then we've measured up, so then we've got the overall post height.
Yeah.
So if we walk back on the wall, you'll see that we've wrote it in such a way so you've got always a visual reminder. Because you can't then forget measurements. So then our post height, from our metre line, which you can see there, we've got 1230 down to damp course. We knew we had 885 to damp course down to the pad, and then obviously our line, which we've gone to there, is a metre below. So then we've got the 1230, the 885 and the metre. And then that gives you a total post height, including the plates, of 3115. Now our joists, our upstairs joists are 195, and our steel, this steel is a 203. So we've got a 203 steel like this, just one, so that's 203 there. But what we're doing, we're putting an extra plate on to make it 275, that's what they've said. So overall, wall is 275. So therefore, we know with a 10mm plate, this is a 10mm, and a 203, we know we've got 213mm. So what we've got a difference of is the 5mm, 5 and 13, 18, we've got 18mm above the joist. So if you've got a joist coming like this, and you've got a floorboard on, which is bound to be 22 in an old Victorian building, you're going to have a total of 217mm from the so the top of the floor to the underside of joist is going to be 217mm, and we've got 213. So it means we won't be breaching. So there'd be skirting on here upstairs. So we will be still within this void, keeping the bottoms level.
Yeah.
So therefore we're not going to be up. We're not going to have to go upstairs and start making holes and this, that and the other, depending on what we find when we take the wall out.
Yeah.
So having something visual on there, you can wherever, until this wall comes down and you go into the fabricators to give measurements, everything's a visual reminder. So if you've forgotten something, like we nearly walked away and we nearly forgot this measurement, we nearly forgot to put the centre. But because I was looking at it, I'm like, well, what have we forgot, Ollie? We're going through it. Oh shit, we ain't got a measurement for the centre of this steel. So it just gives you a visual reminder, and there's a process. You look at it, right, we've got this, got that, got this, got that, and you can double and triple check yourself. So it always makes sense to do that. So we were trying to rip this window out, and I had a frame around it, and I said to Ollie, I said, oh, that's an old sash frame. And I even said it was a sash frame. So I ripped the frame out, wrenched it round with Ollie, it's quite a heavy window, and this fucker comes flying out, and where's it hit me? Right in the ankle, the bastard.